All right. Pull up the MER, which, Drake, can you believe that this is the third month in a row that it's backward? What is going on? Like, I told CCP, man. I told them, I was like,
there's a lot more issues with the MER than being upside down, to be fair. Like, when I looked into the data today, I generally thought I was going mad, and Angry had to tell me that, no, I'm not mad. Some of this data is completely rubbish.
yeah, and I don't know if you saw, Drake, but I posted like the most obvious error in the in the Slack that we have with CCP, and then I noticed, oh, there's no need because they already identified it themselves in the summary. So they actually actually identified the fact that the sinks and faucets don't add up with the money supply graph, which they should, but they don't. And this is
there's so many just wrong things with it. Like the one thing that keyed off for me, I was expecting, just because I was doing my Poshman headline statistics, which I update CCP rampant with, and on Zkill, you can, even though it's a different amount, you can get the general gauge if it's up or down by a percentage. And Zkill was about 5%, but the economic key economic figures by region said it was down by 35%, and I was like, that can't be right. And then from there, I just found more and more wrong data.
Yeah, so
it does look like kill dump is correct, though, although it uses a different valuation method.
Yeah, having said that, though, there's still a lot of things we can read out of this. You know, I don't think there's anything there that are completely broken. I think right now is CCP is preparing for the expansion that comes out in like a week, right? A week.
18th, isn't it?
Almost, yeah, a week and a half. And so they probably didn't put a lot of focus on the MER, but nevertheless, I'm happy it's finally out. The economic trends they put in the summary also very, very short. There's been a significant increase in commodities faucets due to the Crimson Harvest event. We know that it's not quite as high as the winter nexus, but it is very high, and this year it's very high. So we'll have a look at that. And then probably the biggest message is that the MPI continues to fall and mineral prices are at their lowest point in about, I don't know, 2 years, I think is what it looks like. So we'll have a look at that as well.
Although it's just in time for a major Nullsec reshuffle to happen, which is probably going to see them go right back in the opposite direction as minerals get more rare.
You know, it's so exciting because like we not only that, but we have a mining expansion. I'll call it a mining expansion. It's a mining focused expansion that is coming on the 18th. And so I think there's going to be, you know, ignoring politics, I would have said there's almost no way that this expansion doesn't drop mineral prices, because at the very least people are going to be more excited about mining and they're going to go out there and do it. Even people that typically don't mine, possibly. And then also we're going to have different ways of alchemy now of turning the new prismaticide ore into different minerals, and you can steer some of that through reactions, right? So like technically speaking, there's really no way that it's going to go down. But now everything has been kind of turned upside down, because now all of a sudden there's going to be possibly multiple wars, large battles, you know, lots of demand, lots of destruction. So all of that now is really up in the air, and I can't wait to see what's coming in the next month. All right. Shall we go through the graphs here? Let's see.
Are we going top down or bottom up?
We're going bottom up. And I'm going to have to click left. I hate it, you know? Like, it's just like last month. Let me also see here. Hold on. I wanted to make this. I can't make that smaller, but this is all right. Perfect. Okay. Let's start with mining value, production, and destruction. So, you know, simply speaking, there wasn't a lot of change in mining in the last month. We did see a drop in the destruction value, which clearly, this ends at the end of October. So the first week of November probably already, pushed that up by quite a bit. We saw like 3 trillion on the battle report of the Hal camp in the first 2 days, I believe. And so, that went down. Destruction did go down in the end of October, but it's going to be coming up very, very quickly.
I would also question, you see this huge dip down for the month of October, which
here.
I believe this is the drop rate coming into effect. I don't think this data source is using the same data source as other destruction metrics. I think this is other sources are using lost, and this one is using destroyed, and with the drop rate being higher, less things are getting destroyed, less modules and less cargo.
Yeah, and I mean, the question is, and I know the question that you asked CCP as well, is whether there was a difference in calculating this, right? But I'm pretty sure they calculated it as they always did, right?
Yeah, it's just I think because there's multiple different sources for each of the different graphs for the MER.
Yeah,
they're not using the same sources.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
and that could be one is using the destruction source of the ships, but the valuation source is different.
Yeah.
I think there's needs to be a fair amount of work on getting that all into a singular, like, just legible system, so it doesn't keep having these big discrepancies.
Yeah, production is still at a very high level, and it's fairly constant at a fairly high level. So that's pretty great. What is insane here is what, over the next few months we're gonna lose this reference right here about that happened in January 2021 or around there. These massive wars and massive destruction that we saw back in the day is going to be lost to history in these graphs. So it's going to be a very, very different looking at destruction, because if you're looking at destruction starting May of 2022, it has been, slowly going up, but just compared to the past, it's just so little.
Yeah, and a big reason of it going up really was just dread brawls in Nullsec getting more and more common. Like there was, so Metropolis this month was the highest one at. It does say on one of the other graphs.
I saw that.
6 trillion. Completely wrong. It is 4 trillion. It is still the highest, and a lot of that driving that is dread brawls.
Yeah, this
And
is
also
this is the number you're referring to,
now.
right? This is what you're referring to right here, is the destruction in Metropolis.
Yeah. And speaking of dread brawls, there's a new one in Seaside, just right now, I think.
Are you in it?
No, I am in Jita selling stuff.
I like how I wanted to have Kenneth Feld on today for the first time. We've never had Kenneth Feld, I think, on any of the MER ones, and he also canceled last minute because he's still involved in a big battle. So,
also, have you ever actually seen Kenneth in the CSM meetings where he's, one, not driving, or two, not on a plane?
No, but then you're also driving a lot. It looks very dangerous whatever you're doing.
I'm not now because the hours have changed. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I literally have Teams on my dashboard on my car dash.
Yeah, man. I like this daylight saving stuff is terrible. So amount mined hasn't really shifted a lot here. This is production proportion. You can see here that production is shifting towards null much more, and it has been for the past 4 or 5 months, or since the beginning of the year, pretty much. But that is typically the way that null works, is building up stockpiles, and then massive war, massive destruction, and then going back. So in I know it wasn't necessarily peacetime, but it was more peaceful times with not massive wars going on. So typically you will have a lot of null producing, and with the moves, especially of the Imperium done, you will also see a lot of production more from their parts of space.
Do you think with the expansion, with the new phased fields coming to Nullsec, that obviously mining is going to go up in Nullsec, but
Hopefully.
will the production stick around in Nullsec?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's so many things up in the air on this expansion, because I really hope that people like the new mechanics and people jump into it, but the mining will be a lot different than from regular mining. So either, I think there's going to be a portion of people that are just want to do what they've always done, which is just mine in null and not be bothered, right? And then hopefully there are some people that are typically doing other activities in EVE Online, or other PvE activities, maybe abyssals or maybe ratting, and they're then more drawn into this new, more dynamic phase field mining that we're going to see, because it's going to be very, very different, right? It's going to be small groups, it's going to be more dangerous, it's going to be dynamic over time. So I hope it gets adopted, but I think it's you never know with these expansions that introduce something completely new.
And the graph you're on right now, the destruction one, ignore this one. This is wrong, very wrong. There is no way that HiSec doubled and non-universe halved during the Alliance tournament.
Well, I mean, I think that this is Crimson Harvest, right? This line right here, it does represent the time that Crimson Harvest was active. So, but we did have 90% loot drop, but not in HiSec, right? So
yes, but it's as a percentage. So even on the raw numbers, it's not that as a percentage it's gone up. HiSec, according to the MER data, went from 6 trillion to nearly 14 trillion,
right,
in this 1 month. So, and that's just on the lost, not the destruction. So this is what it's coming. It's not going off destruction here. It's going off lost. But
so we'll ignore that graph.
Yeah, the non-universe one, it usually sits around 5 trillion every month, and that's almost entirely, well, it is entirely abyssal space.
Yeah.
This month was different because we had the AT. The AT had about 1.7 trillion of destruction, of losses. So even with that, it's gone down. So it would imply that abyssal space the activity in this abyssal space has dropped by 75%, which is not true.
No. I mean, we can actually look that up. I mean, if we look at Abyss Tracker, a move like that, you would definitely see.
Yeah.
Although
unless there was some monumental bot bans or something, but it's nothing that I've heard of. So
let me throw that in here though. Drake, I don't know if you can see the screen. It's probably with a little bit of delay, right? If you're watching on the stream, but this right here is the Abyss Tracker, right? And you do see a massive drop in activity here. Look at that. Like almost it would almost correlate with this. Now I don't think it explains everything that we just looked at, but I mean this is kind of like we usually don't see these types of drops.
7-day average. So that's going down about 33%. So if everything went down, if this went down 33%, then that might be right. But the data is suggesting it went down 75%.
Yeah, that's definitely not happening. No, unless everyone flying in the AT is usually doing abyssals, which is highly unlikely.
I think they would be offended if you suggested that to them.
You're right. Yeah. They're triple boxing T6s. All right. There's one number, Drake, that I keep stumbling over in here that we briefly touched on last month, but I don't think we solved it. And that is this wormhole mining number, right? Like the 5.6 trillion mined in wormholes. I just have a lot of trouble believing that number. And I don't know if it's the valuation issue, because if you look at how much fullerides, which is wormhole gas, right, are or what are they? I always get them mixed up. They're
fullerenes.
Fullerenes. Fullerides is the reactions. Fullerenes, right? If you look at the total monthly trade volume on those in JITA, which I know that not everything goes through JITA, but the total monthly trade volume is around 1 trillion. And I have to imagine that most wormholes take the stuff out and sell it probably in JITA. I don't know if a lot of them are trade directly with Nullsec or Nullsec, but this number just seems kind of high. I don't.
It's definitely not something I've looked at because I'm just not involved with wormholes at all. So I assume it will be a valuation issue.
Yeah, so I that's something that I'm going to ask CCP about in our next meeting, because I don't know if I believe this number right here. Oh no, dude in chat is saying not everyone does Abyss is tracked by Abyss tracker. No, of course, like very 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 few actually. Like only the people that are very serious do Abyss tracker, but it's an indicator, right? It's the only indicator we have besides the destruction numbers in the MER, which we're trying to test with that. So Abyss tracker is the only way that I know how to get a data point that I can compare to. Yeah. But clearly not everyone is in there. But yeah, in terms of mining, we see Innsmother, that's the Imperium. We see Fountain very strong, that is in it, and then Veil of the Silent also quite strong, which is Winterco or Fraternity. All right, and Wicked Creek is also the initiative now, right?
The big number that comes out to me that's changed is JITA trade is up 10%, which is since September. And I know there was there's trading of the late stage of the events, the crates, because that was like 1 trillion a day, but that was only available for a few days in the month.
Yeah.
So I don't think it could be that.
No, and then there was a pack sale that included skill extractors, which is also often a big volume driver, but I think that was also just after October. It was the first days of November. So, overall, I also do think though that Crimson Harvest as an event overall was quite successful.
Yeah.
And so I do think we had healthy player numbers, and the number of 550 trillion, it's good, it's high, but it's also not insane, so like it's definitely a very healthy thing, and I'm happy to see that. All right, let's move on to the left backwards. Asteroid or mine, I don't know. Yeah, not much change there. Stop me if you want to talk about any of this. This is the gas volume mined, and this is where most of the mine volume would come from wormholes, what I was referring to earlier. And this number is clearly going down over the last.
Yeah, I did a bit of work with Power BI for Mick, one of the Wormhole CSM.
Yeah.
For the viewers, and like all the metrics of activity for wormholes are just going down. It's like 17% loss per month currently. The like 3-month trend.
Yeah,
so
I feel bad for
he's
Mick.
not a happy bunny.
No, and it was a tough year to be a wormhole CSM, right? I mean, this year there was a lot of new stuff added. It just wasn't added to wormholes, and everything that comes out just isn't implemented for wormholes. There's very very few things, so I can see that community is quite frustrated, and I
think it's also there's probably a bit of people winding down after the second war in heaven, where they kicked out was it in September they kicked out something few, Forsaken Few.
Yeah. I
I think after that they've just gone down a bit.
yeah, and like if I would have to think like like we haven't had a real wormhole expansion in like what like it like since wormholes were introduced.
Since Apocrypha. Actually, I guess since the when the Drifter wormholes appeared.
Yeah, yeah, and so I mean I think it's it's due. I think they're due. I mean we've done like low sec, Parchven, Nullsec, and I mean I'm sure high sec is also there saying you add some high sec stuff, but I could see at some point in the next few years a wormhole expansion because um it's I mean it is kind of beautiful, and even if it's if it could be, I think it's just a little bit too big for the amount of people living in there. So I think it's it always feels it's kind of empty, but there's a lot of things that could be done, and I would like to see that. I would say.
I'm sure Mick's gone through tons of like ideas with CCP, and it's just a
Yeah,
case of they haven't got into it yet.
yeah, for sure.
'Cause
Um,
normally, like if a CSM goes into a term and hasn't achieved anything they wanted to, they generally kind of don't stop engaging with CCP, and also they complain about it. Like Mick hasn't had that. He says he's been productive, so I guess it's just a case of it's still in the works.
what could be interesting is if Mick doesn't get reelected next week, right? And CCP is facing the decision of nominating 2 extra candidates. And I think if they don't pick Mick, then the wormhole community is going to be really pissed because they feel like, oh, that means that there's not going to be any wormhole content coming for another year. If they do
Yeah,
pick Mick, it might be, might fuel a lot of speculation.
I think if they do pick Mick, that's kind of a dead giveaway that they're going to do something wormholes. But at the same time, would CCP pick someone who has previously been elected? Because one, it might look like they're playing favorites,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's genuinely a good pick.
Yeah.
And two, Mick is now under an NDA, and CCP can just say you can just continue to give him stuff and work with him through the NDA, because the NDA is just, what is it? Every time they give us information, the
Yeah.
NDA extends for 5 years. So
Free free consulting is what I call it. You know, uh, I agree. I agree, and I think for candidates like me, I think that applies like totally. Like I don't like. I think there's no way CCP would pick me because running 2 terms and more like like a general working relationship. But the wormhole candidate, which like I'm guessing he's going to be the one that's going to get a significant amount of votes. I don't know if there is another one running, but you know if you are planning on creating wormhole content and then you're in that situation where you have to pick someone, then I think picking a wormhole candidate, even if it's someone who has served before, could make sense. So I think in general I agree with you that I don't think they're going to pick anyone that has served before, but it might be different for the wormhole candidate that gets the most votes if
yeah,
they're planning something.
it's just my vibe that they wouldn't pick someone because there's just potential of community blowback from them picking favorites. That being said, CCP Swift has said, like, and specified to people that it isn't against the rules to pick someone who has been picked before or elected.
No.
It's just not happened yet.
Yeah. And it honestly, I mean, looking at the candidate list, it might be very difficult because what if the second 10 is Kishal, Mike Azariah, Mick, you, Young Puke, me? We're all like, it could very well be. I mean, the blocks, the blocks are very big this year, so it might be a very null heavy CSM that
Well,
is coming in.
I would have said it was going to be like 8 slots go to null this year, just because
Yeah,
the sheer amount of voting. But even, and probably more so when Gobbins, one, told people they were moving, two, told people to resub because he was going to unanchor the staging, the Beanstar. And then after people had resubbed, he pinged everyone, by the way, now that you're resubbed, vote for our ballot for CSM. So I thought, in my naivety, thought, okay, he's generally just doing this just to get CSM votes. But then they pulled whatever they just pulled, and now Horde is just being hell camped into the beanstalk.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. All right. So clearly this isn't a CSM chat, but it's so interesting, right? Who is last question on the CSM stuff? Who's the Horde candidate that is that
On Machiavellian and On Guard.
okay, so two newbies, two new people on the CSM then.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. See how that goes. I mean, they rug pulled after everyone cast their votes, you know? So
Yeah.
I mean, like it's such a terrible move, you know, because like they would have never gotten the votes to get people on the CSM, and now we might have two people on the CSM from an alliance that is shrinking by the minute, right? So
It'll
interesting.
be interesting. There have been people who said, "Can we recast our votes because we want to vote for anyone except Horde now?" Which is
I
very
mean,
funny. It'll be interesting to see if Horde survives in the numbers that they are now. If the voter turnout for the Horde ballot next year drops off a cliff because of this,
yeah,
just because of the spite that would have been generated from this.
I don't know. I'm happy. They're the only alliance that didn't put me on the ballot, I think.
Also because Horde now blued in it, I am now officially somehow on every single Nullblocks ballot. So
All
I
right.
said
There you
I
go.
have to now say that anti-blexes are amazing. I texted Phantomite to say that I'm pro anti-blex now. He got very upset.
All right, back to the MER. We've got the ice volume graph on here, and so uh, this is just a preview of what we're going to see next month, and that is the ice mining that goes along with the Winter Nexus event. I think it's important to say though that the ice that is mined there is different kind of ice, right? So
Yes, that
it's
doesn't go to fuel.
yeah. So I know, like I kind of like the analyst in me, Drake. Like doesn't want that ice to show up in this graph. Like what? Like this graph should show ice that is part of the economy, not some
Yeah.
event
The other
popsicle
ice,
shit.
yeah, it should be a commodity. It would be quite good if they had an event commodity graph,
All
just
right.
to break down the actual fully break down what the event had as an effect on the rest of the economy.
Yeah. We're gonna see that in a second. Somebody in chat says that I am on the horde bell. I apologies. I am on the horde bell. Number 8, yeah, number 8 is yeah. Number 8's not gonna trickle much on the horde bell, but I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Now, this is the Metanox graph, Drake, and we're seeing R32 and R64 spike, or actually a spike across the board at the end of October here in Athenoids, apparently, that have been put down. Is this? I would speculate this is Imperium setting up moons in their new space.
It must be. There's
Yeah,
no other area of space that's stable enough to support that.
yeah,
And
and it's
also, it just
massive.
makes it's also nice to see that people are moving away from metanoxes on the low end
Yeah,
as well. Like R4 is continuing to slowly drop and go back to Athenos. R8s are still excessively high, but that has dropped over, I would say, since May. It's
yeah,
still on its way down.
and because goons are resetting, uh, restarting and resetting up their system in a new region, they're not going through Metanox because a lot of these aren't worth it anymore after all the patches that we've seen. So now they're going straight to orange. And yeah, somebody in chat is saying this is a goon locust event. I love that. I love that. Look at that. Those.
Locust fleets. I mean, it makes sense. They've spent all this time essentially moving, and it takes time to get people like actually set up. They can't just do it in a single few weeks of ops. So they're actually now finally putting the pedal down to
Yeah.
get everything going.
And we are I think we're going to see very, very high player numbers in the next few months here. I mean, the expansion is hitting, Winter Nexus is coming. We're seeing, exciting stuff in EVE politics happening. We see drama. Reddit is full of it. I think there's a lot of reasons for people to return to the game right now. And from what I'm seeing in my community or in the people that I talk to, I do see a lot of stuff there. And yeah, I think this is more of an expansion than the actual expansion. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Oh yeah, this is like, who is how metanoxed is this graph. So
Fade and Curse still literally 100%. And
that's right. Back here. Back here. So Fountain a lot less, Veil of the Silent a lot less, Detour, Insmother, Emencia, Ethereum Breach, very, very much back to manual labor, manual mining, as we like to see it. All right. My favorite graph. Now, I'm guessing this is the right number, and
yes, this one's right.
The graph is the wrong number. So let's start with the right number. Beginning of month, is supply was 2,417 trillion. Just because I don't want to say the 2.4 whatever word that is, right? Because in English it's different. Faucets 170, and I talked to Matthew earlier, who does the Power BI, and he updated the graph just for us, so for the shows. Thank Matt. I saw you in chat, man. Thank you so much, dude. Thank you for updating this for us.
Is that beginning of month right? Because the end of month in September was exactly the end of month in October.
Oh no! Did we find another mistake? God. What was it?
Yeah,
Are
so
you
September end of month. Yeah,
Yeah.
last month, September end of month was 12379.4 trillion end of month. And this month it's 1.2379. So 2379.4 trillion end of month.
This year it's beginning of month. Oh, okay. We got to do. If we look at the faucets though, like if we look at the actual numbers, they have changed from last month. So from October to September, they have changed.
Yes.
And
because September, so October was 18 trillion more faucet, 4 trillion less sinks, and Jesus Christ, that activist delta in October is huge. Oh my god, activist delta is doubled.
It's 95. It's massive. It's very, very big.
Was there a huge bot ban wave? Maybe that down slope on the abyssals was correct. If they just
there's no way that in October that many people quit, because Crimson Harvest was. I mean, we saw better player numbers. There's no way that's an organic activist delta. So I think that must be bot bans or the number is wrong.
The faucets I checked on Power BI and they added up. The sinks I'm fairly sure added up. Activist delta obviously we don't get any information on.
The faucets look very very good. That's what that's what I would expect them to be. So they look fine, and the sinks also look like you would expect them to be. Someone in chat is saying, wasn't the game master Whack-a-Bot right before Crimson Harvest? Yeah, but that doesn't
affect this.
Yeah, they do those bans not in that month, but they do the bans in the years before, and then they just take their stuff and put it in space.
Yeah, it's like as a general idea of how the activist delta works with banned accounts. So anything that's not a player, an active player, and that is someone who has been subscribed or has logged in within the last 3 months, who is not banned and who is not CCP. So anyone that falls outside of that category, so if people go from active to inactive, they appear on that graph. And if they go from active to banned, they appear on that graph immediately.
And Fuke in chat is saying maybe 3-month activation. Yeah, typically 3 months removed, you go, 1, 2, 3 in July. Was there something that happened in July? But in July, we actually also saw a very massive activist delta. So it's not like people came back in large numbers and are now leaving. So this number, if it's correct, then this is bot bans. This is
that's a lot of bot bans.
Yeah. Sentence in chat is saying that's just me. A few of my alts run out of Omega.
Did you hear about the?
I should make that joke. That's a good joke. I'm going to steal that joke sentence.
There was a crypto farm that lost like $1 million a day because a load of like a family of cats went in and sat on all of them because they were so low. And the electricity like increase and the reduction in profits from mining like it crippled the company.
Yeah. So let's I mean, if I give them the benefit of the doubt, I'm going to say bot bans. And if that's true, then good on you, CCP. Very good. Let's go back to the MER. What is interesting is this massive spike right here, which is the Crimson Harvest event. This is the loot, the NPC buy order loot buyback from the event. So massive ISK faucet here, comparable to previous years though. Like, whenever in October this happens, you see it happen in October, and then you see the Christmas event coming after. This is last year. This is like this whole red thing is Crimson Harvest.
No, that's Crimson Harvest, and then it goes up to the Christmas.
Yeah, but the Christmas is here. The Christmas is
that's the next year. So you got October spike is Crimson Harvest, then it goes down, and then the next spike is. Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, you're right.
No. Like the overseer personal effects is the
orange line.
Is the orange line, and that's the Christmas event. So maybe, like, Drake, we were discussing this week whether, like, which one's worse for the economy, Crimson Harvest or Winter Nexus, and in last year they seem to have been fairly similarly bad.
Well, and when I say there must have been a different event that coincided, because that spike, Crimson Harvest last year was not nearly as popular, and this year it was very popular because they had the new sites that everyone was loving. So this, I think it was another event that coincided.
It might have been. Wasn't there something on the AT? Wasn't there like free cash in the AT something? But maybe, yeah, we'll look it up. But also, this isn't over. A lot of this is going to travel into November as well, as people take their loot and sell it. So it's going to flow over. Here you can see this very well. This is the commodity market. And so the commodity market takes both into one. So this is a good reflection of the event. And so last year you can see here Crimson Harvest, Winter Nexus. And now it's fairly similar now, the Crimson Harvest line. So it's probably in line.
Like, if you look at the last year, you have that spike up in October, then there's a small dip down. Yep. I think that was the end of the Crimson Harvest last year, and then that next spike up afterwards was a different. You got up halfway, Crimson Harvest ends, it goes down, it spikes up again, then that event ends and goes down, then you get Christmas over the December to January.
Yeah, so you think that event was something different? Yeah, might be. Yeah. Oh, wait. I wanted to look at one more graph, which is the money supply. No, 2 more. 3 more. Wait, skipping a lot here. This is what I'm looking at. This is the money supply graph, and this is completely wrong. So I'm not gonna.
It's now 100 trillion higher than the other graph.
Yeah, it should go down. It's going up. So let's ignore it and let's wait for CCP to fix it. ISK velocity should probably be correct. It went up last month. it's almost surprising that it didn't go up more, because we did, as you said, we saw a 10% increase in JITA trade volume. So, but
it's good that it's going up at least anyway, even
yeah,
though it's also going up because the overall ISK supply went down as well. Not by
yeah,
huge much, mind you, but that's probably like one of the pitfalls in looking at this. It looks like people are spending less and less. It's most likely that people are spending more generally, but because the money supply going up, there is more ISK to trade, so the velocity goes down, just as how it's calculated.
yeah, it's definitely so. The money supply does have a big impact on the velocity of it, for sure. And then, if you have, whenever you have a lot of veterans coming back that are coming back with large stockpiles and are not spending it, that's also terrible for the velocity of ISK. So, but having said that, though, the overall trend is very clear. And if you compare this to 2017, clearly in 2017, the EVE economy was way more active because ISKs were exchanging hands way more quickly in all of the different ways that you can measure it.
So it's just about, I would say it's halved roughly between Jan 2017 and the ISK supply compared to January 2017 it went from essentially 1,000 trillion to 2.3 trillion. So the ISK velocity has halved, but the ISK supply has over doubled, which is why
Right.
so that's why it makes sense that it's gone down by half.
Yeah. Well, I think you always have to put the player numbers into that equation as well, right? So because like if money supply goes up and the player count goes up in the same amount or in the same ratio, then you should see a similar ISK velocity. But if ISK supply goes up and the player numbers don't go up accordingly, then that means that you have more ISKs distributed on fewer people, and that typically would mean that velocity of ISK will go down.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey Chaos, good to see you. All right, we're almost done. Almost done. The MPI is almost. I mean, it's almost the biggest story here. It's down to levels that we haven't seen since 2023. So we can say minerals are cheaper than they have been for the last 3 years or so, which is, it's a big deal.
So do you think with Fades Fields this is going to go down more, or do you think with Horde essentially collapsing, at least it looks like that way anyway, that this is going to spike back up again in the short term?
I think so, maybe in the short term, but I think over the next few months, my bet would be on mineral prices going down. Like I don't see there's a way that's not going to happen. Like I just don't think so. I think like if I were investing, I would short MPI. I would short minerals if I could in this game. Yeah. So that's good. Price is coming down, and then that's pretty much it. I think we have this weird little useless graph that is very distorted. So let's not talk about it.
Well, the
All right.
decomposition.
Say what?
The decomposition.
No, I meant the module versus ship prices, that CCP introduced at some point to prove that ships aren't expensive. And then
it would be useful if the ship was actually spread out between like types of ship, so you could
it's
see what the
just a
breakdown
weird,
was.
very general graph, right? I mean, this is basically saying that ship prices are now about the same as they were in 2018, even though we had scarcity along the way. And that is, they're not wrong, they're not wrong. But it's comparing apples to oranges pretty much. I mean, since then we've had so many new ships, changes in blueprints. Yeah.
So you think that's the useless graph? You don't think the next one is the most useless graph?
This one?
the largest battle by solar system. But it's like, oh look, there's a big green dot there. Which solar system is that actually pointing at?
I don't even look at this graph. I don't
It's
even like.
pretty, I guess.
It's pretty. Like I think I might just print it out and put it on my wall. Like it looks like contemporary art. Yeah, that's good. But that's it. That's a total market niche, by the way, Drake. Like that's a good, like, take economic graphs from EVE Online, make them sexy, and then sell them as art on the wall. I think that's my next business.
Who would buy that? There's your Discord, I guess. There's Angry
me.
Mustache.
There's
you. Who else?
I don't know. I would raffle them away, and then they would be limited edition. You know, maybe we can sign them
to do a watercolor painting of the MER, like its velocity over time.
Yep, MER by Oz, in acrylic on wood. All right. Any other things you want to talk about, Greg, before I let you go?
No, not really. I just like I would like CSV to run these numbers again, so they're not don't melt my brain when I look at them and I feel like I'm having a stroke.
That's right.
Aside from that, like most things kind of make sense. The Podshrin ones, like Podshrin is kind of the same. The destruction's down about 3%, and the crabbing is up 3%. Barghasts are by and large like the most. I think 660 billion isk of barghasts died in this month alone. So it's the changes that we've got through have successfully changed it from Marauders, Vargas Online to Barghasts, and sometimes Ravens Online.
Yeah. Oh well. At least we're seeing ships in space.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. All right. So people out there, don't forget to vote. Drake is also one of the candidates, so feel free to put him on number 2 of your ballot.
Or first, or just swap me with Oz. You don't
know. Yeah. If you like what you hear, then you can also put him on number 1. Okay, Drake. Whatever happens next week, I'd be honored to have you back next month for
sure,
for the MER.
Are you going to FanFest this year?
I'm going to FanFest. Yes. Hopefully, I'm going to CSM Summit as well.
Hopefully, I'll also be at FanFest, regardless of what happens at the CSM. So
yeah,
I'll meet up with you there.
You can apply to have a presentation spot. I just saw yesterday, right? That they're asking for that, so you can hold a presentation. You're good at that.
I could, but the last time I did a presentation in Iceland, I was told I had an hour. I actually had 40 minutes. I actually went for 1 hour and I went over by the 15 minutes, and they forgot to record it, so I had to do it again.
I can see how that happens. But at FanFest, you get a free ticket, I think. So hey, it's worth it. Got to pay for your flight though, but that's not that far for you.
Yeah, it's just like I could almost swim there. Don't hold me to that.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah. Cool, awesome, Drake. Thanks for stopping by.